Hello, I'm Peter Bergman. This is my official YouTube channel. I'll be updating you with the latest news, so please subscribe to my channel.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today is a beautifully chaotic Wednesday in the soap world, and we have a massive, groundbreaking update to dive into together. Grab a seat, brace yourselves, and let's get right into the absolute madness unfolding in Genoa City. Are you guys seeing this absolute insanity right now? I am physically vibrating at my desk. The screen is glowing. My coffee is completely freezing cold, and my brain is completely short-circuiting. Someone check my pulse because I am actually spiraling. The absolute visceral wreckage of my emotions is spilling out right now, and I do not even care. I am forcing you all to drown in this vibe with me before we even talk about the plot, because my sanity is officially shattered. We just watched a masterclass in psychological terror come to a crashing, spectacular halt, and I am not okay. Well, whatever happens, happens, right, everyone? Patty Williams is finally in handcuffs. The reign of terror is officially over. Look, I have been screaming at my television for weeks, begging the universe to intervene, and it finally happened. But mid-sentence, I am suddenly realizing, wait, am I actually sad? No, that is impossible. She is an absolute menace to society. But my brain is literally buffering right now. I am completely paralyzed because a part of me is grieving the end of this magnificent catastrophe. I hate her for what she did to Jack and Diane, but I am utterly obsessed with the pure, unadulterated chaos she brought to our screens. Seriously, the sheer, unrelenting hellscape that Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins have been trapped inside is beyond human comprehension. The psychological warfare has been absolutely brutal. The shadows in the Abbott mansion have never looked so menacing. Every single time a door creaked or a floorboard groaned, you could see the absolute terror in Diane's eyes. Dead ass. This was the most gripping, claustrophobic nightmare the show has delivered in years. Jack, our stoic Abbott patriarch, was reduced to a man constantly looking over his shoulder, his entire existence consumed by the creeping dread of his unhinged ex-wife lurking in the periphery. Listen, I'm fully prepared to be canceled for this, but I literally have to say it. Patty Williams is the greatest, most tragic villain in the history of Genoa City. You have to understand the deep, twisted lore here if you want to grasp the gravity of this moment. She is not just some random stalker off the street. This is Paul Williams' sister. This is Jack's former wife. This is a woman whose mind was fractured decades ago, spiraling through identities and leaving a trail of absolute destruction. Sorry, I'm getting a bit off track. Okay, anyway, let's get back to the point. Seriously, let us rewind the tapes for a second, because the newer fans might not fully grasp the absolute terror of this woman. Do you guys remember the Mary Jane Benson era, the stuffed cat, the dead cat, the way she manipulated everyone with that sweet, innocent voice while plotting absolute devastation behind closed doors? I'm getting full-body chills just thinking about it. Patty Williams has literally changed her face, changed her identity, and clawed her way out of maximum security psychiatric wards just to get back to Jack. She is the Michael Myers of daytime television, dead ass. You think you have defeated her? You think she is locked away forever, and then suddenly she is standing in your living room holding a twisted smile and a heart full of vengeance? The sheer stamina of her obsession is both terrifying and awe-inspiring. Basically, the moment the police finally closed in on Patty, the cinematic tension was off the charts. The flashing red and blue lights cutting through the darkness of the night, illuminating the sheer desperation on Patty's face. I stopped breathing. No cap, the way she looked at Jack, that mixture of profound, twisted love and absolute betrayal, it hit different. It really popped on screen in a way that made my chest physically ache. The officers grabbing her arms, the metallic click of the handcuffs echoing in the silence. It was a symphony of destruction and salvation, all wrapped into one perfect, devastating scene. Look, we have to talk about Diane Jenkins for a second. Wait, is it just me? Because low-key, Diane has proven herself to be the ultimate survivor in this entire ordeal, period. People love to drag Diane. They love to bring up her past mistakes and her own history of manipulation. But in this storyline, she was an absolute warrior. She stood by Jack when anyone else would have packed their bags and fled across the globe to escape Patty's wrath. Diane anchored Jack. When Patty tried to shatter their reality and tear their world apart, Diane absolutely refused to break. The sheer exhaustion on her face when the police finally hauled Patty away, it was raw, it was real, and it was breathtaking. Anyway, let us pivot to Jack Abbott because my heart is actively bleeding for this man. Seriously, Jack has endured so much trauma over the years, but this specific nightmare felt so deeply personal and invasive. Patty represents his past mistakes, his guilt, his deepest failures, all manifesting into a physical threat against the woman he loves right now. When the police cars finally drove away, the way Jack just collapsed into himself, wrapping his arms around Diane, I was sobbing. The heavy oak doors of the Abbott mansion finally closing, sealing the monsters outside. But are they really gone? Wait, I am contradicting myself again. I just said the monsters are gone, but my brain is struggling to load the truth here. Because Patty never really leaves, does she? She is an institution of trauma. Even behind bars, even in a secure facility, her presence lingers like smoke in the Abbott living room. I am so intensely relieved for Jack and Diane, but I am also terrified that this is just the end of a chapter, not the end of the book. No cap, I am completely paranoid. Every time Jack looks at a stuffed animal or a shadow moves in the hallway, I am going to have a full-blown panic attack. Seriously, think about the history of the Abbott family. John Abbott built that house to be a sanctuary, a place of warmth, love, and family legacy. And Patty turned it into a literal haunted house. Every corner of that sprawling estate felt tainted by her suffocating presence. When Jack and Diane were walking through the halls these past few weeks, you could feel the unbearable tension bleeding through the screen. The expensive mahogany, the grand staircase, the sprawling living room where so many iconic Genoa City moments have happened, all of it felt like a trap waiting to spring. Deadass, I was watching the background of every single scene, analyzing the shadows, waiting for Patty's face to emerge from the darkness. The paranoia was absolutely contagious. I was checking my own locks at night, no cap. Look, I want to talk about the exact moment the realization hit Jack that the nightmare was over. The camera zoomed in on his face, right? The harsh lighting casting these deep, jagged shadows across his features. You could literally see decades of exhaustion washing over him in real time. The Abbott patriarch, the man who has fought vicious corporate wars with Victor Newman and survived countless public scandals, was brought to his absolute knees by the ghost of his past. And Diane, oh my God, Diane. When she rushed over to him, her hands trembling, her voice cracking as she whispered that it was finally over, I lost it. I absolutely lost it. I was clutching my throw pillow like it was a life preserver. The vulnerability they showed in that scene, the raw, unfiltered humanity of two people who just survived a psychological war zone was so incredibly powerful. Wait, is it just me, or was that the most romantic thing we have seen all year? Low-key, surviving a homicidal ex-wife is the ultimate relationship test, and Jack and Diane passed with flying colors. Period. Basically, the emotional whiplash I am experiencing right now is severe and completely unmanageable. I am vibrating between pure, unadulterated hype that our favorite couple survived and absolute indignation that Patty was allowed to get this close to destroying them in the first place. The Genoa City Police Department needs a massive overhaul, deadass. How many times does a known fugitive have to terrorize the elite citizens of this town before someone actually does their job? It is absolutely ridiculous, but also I am living for the high-stakes drama, so I cannot even be genuinely mad about it. Look, the aftermath of this is going to be a monumental shift for Jack and Diane. They are officially stepping out of the absolute darkness and into the light. The nightmare is over. The heavy, suffocating blanket of fear has been lifted off their shoulders, but the trauma bonding they just went through, that changes a relationship forever. You do not just survive Patty Williams and go back to drinking coffee at society like nothing happened. They are forged in absolute fire now. Their love is bulletproof. They have looked pure evil in the eye and stood their ground. Seriously, I need to take a breath but I physically cannot stop typing. The adrenaline is still pumping through my veins at 1,000,000 miles an hour. The way the writers orchestrated this entire climax, weaving the heavy historical weight of Patty's obsession with the modern-day resilience of Jack and Diane, was nothing short of brilliant. Every single terrified glance, every single tear, every single frantic whisper in the dark culminated in this explosive, cathartic release. I am a disciple of this show, and tonight, the soap gods delivered a masterpiece of emotional wreckage that I will never, ever forget. Basically, the sheer magnitude of this episode cannot be overstated. I am going to be rewatching this arrest scene for the rest of my life. The way Patty's voice echoed in the cold night air, screaming Jack's name as the police cruiser doors slammed shut, that sound is going to haunt my nightmares, no cap. It was the desperate, chilling wail of a broken soul who truly believed she was the hero of her own twisted love story. Look, I know some people might think I am overreacting, but if you have been here since day one, if you truly understand the gravity and the blood-soaked history of the name Patty Williams, you know exactly why I am losing my mind right now. This isn't just a storyline wrapping up, it is the closing of a massive, terrifying, tear-soaked era of terror. Jack Abbott can finally sleep. Diane Jenkins can finally breathe. And Patty has finally stopped. But the deep psychological scars she left on Genoa City will never fade, period.
Thank you for watching my video. I will be updating regularly with the latest news, so please remember to subscribe to my channel to support me.